Happy Friday, second grade scientists! We are almost finished with our life cycle unit. You have learned about how all living things have a life cycle. That means all kinds of living things have babies, which grow, change, and develop from babies into adults. And most adults will have their own babies, and eventually they will die. But that kind of living thing keeps going on and on because of the life cycle. Today we're going to talk about parents and their babies. Look at this picture on the slide. Do you see all the different kinds of living things? Dolphins, monkeys, emus, snakes, cows, butterflies, plants, and people. How could we compare the adults and their babies? Have you ever read this book, Are You My Mother? Your teacher put a link on your Canvas page today so you can go and listen to this read aloud. It's a really cute story, if you haven't heard it before, about a baby bird who hatches out of the egg and doesn't see his mother, so he goes off on a search looking for her. He asks all kinds of other animals if they are his mother, but they're not. He even asks a big truck if it's his mother. Something that makes it extra funny is we know that all those other animals aren't the baby bird's mother, especially since they don't even look like the bird. That connects to our lesson for today. Here is some super duper important information, friends. Offspring resemble their parents. I know there are some words there you probably don't know. Can you take a guess what they might mean? Offspring resemble their parents. And offspring is kind of a funny word because it has nothing to do with off or spring. It just actually means the child or the children of a living thing. So that could be a baby human, a baby animal, or even the seed of a plant. Those are all offspring, okay? The word resemble means that something looks or acts like something else, so they're similar. So if offspring resemble their parents, that means the children are like their parents. Make sense? Let's look back at these pictures again. Do you see how almost all of the offspring are smaller than their parents? Most of them look very similar, they're just smaller. The dolphin and the plants look almost exactly like their parents, except smaller. The monkey, the snake, the cow, and the emu are very similar to their parents, except their colors just look a little bit different. But they still look like the same kind of animal, and they act like them too. Humans are the same way. Our babies and our children don't look exactly like us. You can still tell us apart most of the time, but they still have most of the same features, like 2 eyes, arms, legs, we walk on our feet, we all speak with our mouths, we laugh, and so on. The butterfly's baby definitely doesn't resemble the parent as much as the other animals, but it is still an insect, and it will grow and change into something very similar to its parent. Let's look at some other examples. Do you think this baby giraffe resembles its parent? Look how similar they are. They look very, very much alike. What about the baby lizard? Very similar, right? It resembles the adult. Baby chicks look a little more different from their mom than other animals might, but they still have very similar feet and beaks and wings. Their feathers will change to look more like their mom's as they get bigger. Baby penguins' feathers are very different, but they still resemble their parents. They still look like penguins. They don't look like cats or alligators or ladybugs, right? Of course, these cute puppies look a lot like their mom. Sometimes puppies are different colors than their parents, but they still resemble their parents with all their other features and with the way they act. How about plants? This is a redwood tree. Look at the little tree seedling in that person's hands. It fits right inside their hands. And then look at the full-grown redwood tree. There's a person standing at the bottom. Do you see him? Redwood trees grow huge, but their offspring still resemble them. How does this little orange tree seedling resemble the adult orange tree? I see the same green leaves. I also know they both need water, air, and sunlight to survive. And I know one day that little seedling will grow as big as the parent tree and produce oranges, just like the parent tree. An orange tree seedling will never grow up and produce bananas, right? All right, how about humans? Do you think my son resembles his mother? People say a lot that we do. The eggs from that college in Nebraska have now been in the incubator for 17 days. We're getting very close to when the chicks should hatch. Let's look at what will be happening inside the eggs over the next few days, which are the last days that they'll actually be inside the eggs. If you look at this slide, on day 19, which will be on Sunday, the beak is against the inner shell membrane. Remember that very thin membrane on the inside of the hard shell? And so its beak has now moved right to the edge where it's ready to pierce it and pop through. On day 20, the chick pierces the inner shell membrane and breathes the air in the air pocket. Remember, the fatter end of the egg has that little air spot, that pocket of air. So the chick gets those last little gulps of air right in there. It's ready to hatch. And then by Tuesday, possibly onto Wednesday next week, the chick's legs will help it turn around so it can pierce the shell in a circular pattern. So the legs will actually spin its little body around so the beak can go around and around and around in a circle to pop through. It will take about 12 to 18 hours to hatch. Wow, 18 hours to hatch. That's a long time and a lot of work for the little chick. I bet the chicks are exhausted when they finally get out. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to watch and record the candling. Remember where they put the light under the egg? I wasn't able to watch that when they did it at this past Tuesday. But I did find another video of egg candling done on day 14, just like they did. So let's watch that. It's pretty awesome.
This is day 14 of development of a white leghorn chick embryo. You can see it rotating itself on the inside here. All them red lines that look like a red spiderweb are the blood vessels and veins. At this day of development, you can start to see certain structures like the toes and the beak. As I turn on the egg here.
Wow. Did you see all those little blood vessels and you saw how it was bigger inside? I'm going to move forward and show you one other one. We won't watch the whole thing.
Close to my thumb, moving around, you can see the outlines of the toes. And if I rotate it a little bit further, you can see the...
Friends, could you see that? Do you see the chick inside all because of the candle? I'm going to back up a little bit again. Look, right above his finger, do you see that dark spot? It almost looks like you can see a beak right there.
Close to my thumb, moving around, you can see the outlines of the toes. And if I rotate it a little bit further, you can see the beak and the eye as that dark spot in the center. And at this stage of development, we will never find a yolker in our incubator because they have been cold or removed from our incubator when we did day 7 of candling. As I rotate it a little bit there, I All them red lines connecting to the top where the air cell is located, you can see them really well. Those are the blood vessels and veins.
Wow. Did you see all the movement going on in that second egg? I loved seeing the chick move around inside. The eggs that we've been watching on the webcam at that college in Nebraska should be hatching in just a few days, probably Tuesday or Wednesday next week. Try to keep visiting the link that your teacher has shared with you, especially starting next Tuesday. I'm probably going to have it on all day long. We only have 2 science lessons left this school year. Can you believe it? Next week, we'll do some reviewing of everything we've learned all year long. We'll see how much you remember. We will also be watching to see when the baby chicks hatch. I can't wait. I hope you have an awesome weekend, everyone. I love you guys. Bye.